What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. And in this video, I wanted to talk about the second half expectations for the New York Giants and things that I'm personally looking for the New York Giants to both improve and continue to do well. There's certainly some things this young team has done well. And there's certainly some things that this team really needs to work on. The New York Giants over the last 2.5 years now have been a very bad football team. 3-13, 5-11, and they're 2-6 over their first 8 games this year. Very similar to last year. The Giants were 1-7 after their first 8 games. They had an encouraging finish in which they went 4-4, and even in their losses, played some very good teams right down to the wire. Their only bad loss in the second half last year was the game in which they got shut out against the Tennessee Titans in very unfavorable weather conditions, and I think the Titans used that to their advantage. But they could have easily beaten the Cowboys last game of the season. They should have beaten the Colts, who were a very good team last year. I think they were coming in with an 8-game winning streak, and they should have beaten the Eagles. They thoroughly outplayed them in the first half, and then it got away from them. But the New York Giants, I hope they could do similar to what they did last year and have a strong finish, and hopefully can build off of that going into next year. Now, it didn't result in that way this year, but you could certainly argue it's a completely new team. Olivier Vernon gone, Landon Collins gone, Eli Manning gone, Odell Beckham gone. So it is a completely new team. So it was like a fresh start. So hopefully if they could do similar to what they did last year, Daniel Jones and this young defense could use that as a springboard to help them get off to a good start, something that we have not had in quite some time in the 2020 season with all the free agent acquisitions we project to bring in along with some draft picks. I will start with the offense in terms of things that I want to see improved and in terms of things that I want to see continue. We'll start with things that need to improve. The first key thing to me, before I even get to Pat Shurmur, ball security. Ball security for Daniel Jones and this New York Giants offense has been a big, big problem. They lead the league in fumbles lost. We're not just talking fumbles. They've lost 10, which is 32nd in the league. They rank dead last. They've only created 3. So that needs to be improved on. We all know that is a weakness for Daniel Jones. It was a weakness in college, and it's been a weakness since he's come to the New York Giants. Now, in fairness to Jones, last week he fumbled once. I didn't really view that as a fumble. He was trying to hit Saquon Barkley out in the flat, and he got hit as he threw. So the ball landed behind the line of scrimmage. It was just horrible timing. I didn't really view that as a true fumble, so I'm not going to get on him for that. As a matter of fact, I thought I saw visual evidence of Daniel Jones improving in that aspect. There was 3 or 4 times where the middle just opened up and the guy came right at Daniel Jones. He had no time to prepare. There was one play in particular where I saw Jones turn his body, put both hands on the ball, and he did not fumble it. So that was encouraging to see. Maybe they are coaching him up on how to control the football when you're getting hit. So that's something that needs to continue to improve, and hopefully Jones does not have those fumbling woes in the second half. That is a huge key for me for this football team. The next key on the offense that I want to see improved is the play calling. Pat Shurmur, in my opinion, has been very inconsistent. There are times where I like his play calling. Last week, I thought Pat Shurmur did a good job. They opened up the playbook. They took shots down the field with Saquon Barkley on the wheel route. He hit Darius Slayton. But most importantly, they brought Daniel Jones under center in the offset I formation. That will open up the play action rollout, and they're running the football. The best friend to Daniel Jones will be Saquon Barkley, and they need to use Barkley as much as possible in both the pass and running game. And yes, these games may be meaningless. They probably will be. We sit 3 losses out. That's what I care about. We are 3 losses out behind the Dallas Cowboys. If we win this week, we would be 2 out with 7 to play. Anything's possible because the NFC stinks, but it's very unlikely that we will even contend for the playoffs. This is about building young talent and giving them confidence going into their sophomore seasons, because there are a lot of rookies on this team or second-year players. And Will Hernandez, I kind of... You know what? I was unfair to him in my last video. I'll be the first to say that. Will Hernandez has not done a bad job. I've just been down on this offensive line as a whole. And maybe I was unfair on Remmer saying that he sucked. He hasn't allowed that many sacks. But I want to see the offensive line as a whole get back to where they were. And Nate Solder's the biggest culprit. Halapio was really bad last game. I want to see them get back to where they were the first 2-3 weeks of the season when they were blocking very well. That Arizona Cardinal game left a sour taste in my mouth. And that wasn't all the offensive line's fault for those 8 sacks. There were a few plays where Daniel Jones held onto the ball too long. That's another thing Jones needs to work on, pocket awareness. And these are things rookie quarterbacks should have to work on. And we're going to get to a lot of the positive things that I want Daniel Jones to build on. But that's what this video is about. It's improvement. And yeah, that's another thing. Pocket awareness for Daniel Jones. Want to see that improve. But the offensive line, I want a consistent push in the run game. I want to see pass protection consistently. And it starts this week against the Dallas Cowboys. And they should be motivated with the way they've played these last 2 weeks, specifically Nate Solder. So hopefully that improves. Now, in terms of what I want to see continued. I like Daniel Jones' confidence. I really do. He's the type of guy that doesn't seem scared to make mistakes, and I love that. That's one of the things I loved about Eli Manning in his prime. That's what makes a quarterback great, when you're willing to take those chances when they are necessary. Now, you shouldn't take chances when you shouldn't take chances, but I like that Daniel Jones is willing to take shots, that he is confident in his arm, in his ability. It is blatantly obvious that he has a lot of confidence, and I like that about his game. I want to see him continue to try to do that. Try to fit those balls in the tight windows. Learn as you go. I don't mind if you throw picks. You're a rookie. Just learn from them, and hopefully he does. He's had some trouble with the cover 2 coverage, so hopefully he continues to work on that, continues to improve, and makes the correct reads. But I like his confidence, and he's shown a good ability to throw some clean, deep balls. Last week, Darius Slayton was terrific for the New York Giants, and I think a big reason why had to do with the ground game. I think the ground game opened up deep passing opportunities for Daniel Jones and this offense. So, Jones, continue to do what you're doing overall throwing the football. I've liked what I've seen. Yes, you've made some bonehead throws, no doubt about it. And there was a 2 or 3 week span where I started scratching my head and I said, all right, we got to get back to Daniel Jones. I also want to see more RPOs. I don't think it's been used enough. I don't want it to be the focal point of this offense, but I'd like it to be a tool in the tool bag. So I'd like to see that as well. When you have Saquon Barkley and a mobile quarterback, that could be a lethal weapon to pull out of your hat every now and again. And I don't think that Pat Shurmur and the New York Giants have used it enough yet. And play action rollouts. I think that could be a big strength of Daniel Jones. Need to see that more as well. And using Evan Ingram up the seam. I think they've gotten away from that a bit. So those are things that I want to see improved on, and some things that I want to see continued. I think Darius Slayton and Daniel Jones have a terrific connection. Darius Slayton only has 16 catches. He has 267 yards. He's averaging over 16 yards a catch, which is by far the highest total on this team. He has definitely asserted himself as the deep play threat on this offense. And really encouraging stuff, that chemistry those two have. He has 3 touchdowns on only 16 catches. All 3 of them were on pretty deep throws. So I like what I've seen out of Slayton. And overall, I've liked what I've seen out of Jones. I just want to see him continue to build off of what he's done. He had a great game last week with 4 touchdowns. In terms of the defense ranks near the bottom of the league in yards against and, points against, all that. And if we were being honest coming into the season, we should have expected that. You take a look at this defense. You have Dexter Lawrence is a rookie. Right, they're filled with young players, second-year players. B.J. Hill, Lorenzo Carter, DeAndre Baker's a rookie. So we should have expected this to be a year where they're going to get better over the course of the season, but it's going to take time. The first week, I think we all could agree, was their worst defensive performance. They look completely lost in coverage, and I do not expect that against the Dallas Cowboys this week. This team has learned. They've gotten better over the course of the weeks. I thought last week they played a pretty sound game defensively. Yes, they surrendered 31 points. Really only 24 because one was a fumble recovery for a touchdown. The week before, I think Detroit put up, 30, 35 against the Vikings. So I thought the Giants defense played pretty well. Yes, Stafford missed a couple of throws. He had the running back on a deep wheel route on one play where he missed them. But overall, outside of those 2 plays where they got beat deep, I thought the Giants did very good against the run. And now they bring in Leonard Williams. Is a guy I'm really excited about and a guy that I think could add a lot to this defense. But in terms of the defense, one thing I will say that is noticeably different in the first half this year has been the pass rush. They have 22 sacks in their first 8 games. To compare that to last year, they had 9. Now, they had a nice second half last year. I think they finished with 30 or 31 sacks, but they are well on pace to break that mark. So they have definitely improved in that department with the addition of Marcus Golden. Marcus Golden leads the team in sacks with 6. I'd like to see Lorenzo Carter, who's starting to show signs of playing better, have a very strong second half. He has 2.5 sacks. Last week was his best game. B.J. Hill, I want to see more involved. I know he had a really good game per PFF last week, but the guy still doesn't have any sacks. He doesn't seem to be that involved. Dalvin Tomlinson has been terrific. I would love to see him continue that. But overall, I thought the pass rush in the first half was pretty good, and it's noticeably different. Now, where they need to improve big time is third down defense. Their third down defense has been as bad as it gets. Whenever a team is within 10 yards, I think they're going to pick it up. It's almost like a 75% chance, it feels like. 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, they pick it up at will because the Giants are in this zone coverage. They blitz. They don't get there in time. The quarterback hits the guy over the middle. So that's something that needs to be improved on. That's something I really want to see this defense get better at in the second half. Send pressure when you need to and come up with some good coverage. That needs to be improved. Third down defense is vital. But I do like that they've been able to get home on the quarterback. But the third down defense has been really bad. And hopefully it improves. You want to see these young players just get better. I also want to see Julian Love get some playing time. He hasn't played. I'd like to see Corey Ballantyne get some playing time. I'd like to see Sam Beal get some playing time. You want to see these youngsters get to play. Whether that means moving Janoris Jenkins to the slot, whether that means playing Julian Love at the slot, whatever it is, I want to see the youngsters get in there and get some experience and see what they have on the defensive end. I'm really excited to see this defensive front, though, with Dalvin Tomlinson, Dexter Lawrence, and Leonard Williams. I think it could be a really big strength for this defense going forward, and especially, and you still have the depth there with McIntosh and B.J. Hill. Middle linebacker, I don't think Ogletree will be back here next year, so it doesn't really matter too much to me with him. I do expect the Giants to cut him next year. He's been mediocre at best. I'm really looking forward to getting Ryan Connolly back next year. Showed a lot of promise. So hopefully he gets fully recovered from his injury. David Mayo has some ups, some downs. I think we need to get a completely new middle linebacking core next year. So there's nothing really for me to get excited about there. Lorenzo Carter on the edge, like I said, and Zimenez. Zimenez has 2 sacks, but he's been silent the last 2 or 3 weeks. Hopefully he could show us that he could be a part of this defense going forward. In the secondary, got to get Bethea out of there. You got to get Bethea out of there. And Peppers has to play safety or somebody. I got to see somebody else there. He's not going to be on this team next year either. We need to start to see the younger players, and they need to get experience. And they can't be worse than him. He's been so bad. Jabril Peppers has been up and down. He's definitely been a heavy hitter. He's gotten lost in coverage at times. I want to see the secondary as a whole have better coverage. DeAndre Baker, I've been very encouraged with. Yeah, he may get beat here and there, but DeAndre Baker overall has been night and day since the start of the season, since they brought him up and he's playing press coverage. I loved what I've seen out of him, and I just want to see him continue to impress. But I think by next year, he will be our number 1 corner, may even be our number 1 corner by the end of this year. And he looks to be a good pick by the New York Giants. So the defense, to me, let's not get on them. Let's let them continue to improve in this second half, and I just want to see improvement. I want to see them get the team off the field on third down, something they've continued to struggle with. But yeah, that's about it, guys. Those are my expectations. Those are things I think the New York Giants need to improve on over the course of these next 8 games going into the 2020 season. But as always, guys, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe, drop a comment, maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.